Welcome to Potentials. Today we journey into the sacred architecture of reality itself, the divine blueprint beneath all form. Joining me today is Mark Leib, a visionary creator and steward of sacred spaces, here to explore the alchemy of geometry, ether, and consciousness. Welcome, Mark. It's great to have you back.
Thanks, Leeja. I'm very glad to be back. I think it was last March we were together.
Yes, it's been too long, way too
Yeah,
long.
yeah, and we tried a few times to get it done early in the year, but we're here now.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and
Thank you
I'm
for
really
being here.
happy to share this because I know that you've got sort of some knowledge and interest in this subject, and we touched a little of some of this last time. It was more like an exposition of what's possible in terms of the work, and now we're going to go into sort of more of the bit of the theory with some couple of key examples that I think people are gonna, are gonna really like.
Awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. I know you showed me a little bit of your slides that you're going to show everyone, and the visuals are brilliant, and I really think it's going to be very helpful for everyone. So yeah, let's get started.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, we'll do that. Okay, so I'm going to share, and hopefully the technology is going to work for us.
Yay.
How are we doing? Is that looking good for
Very
you?
good. I see it. Sacred Blueprint,
Sacred
markleib.com.
Blueprint. Fantastic. Hi, everyone. So, as Liz just said, I work with sacred geometry and sacred architecture and sacred design. And I design spaces and landscapes and sacred structures. And that's based upon the ancient technology of the European tradition of building. So, what I'm going to do is talk about that in a sort of broader context and show you a couple of examples and hopefully some things you've maybe not seen before. Okay, so the sacred blueprint, as Liz just said, is really the relationship between space, space time, and more locally, geometry and shape. The ether being the structure of that, and consciousness itself, the aware living being of the of at all scales, the cosmos, the planets, us, and every living form. So what I'm going to show you here is this is a project very dear to my heart. It's it's a medicine wheel, so it's a traditional form which is found in Native American tradition, but it's also found in the same shape essentially a cross and a circle is found in the Celtic tradition as the Celtic cross.
Yes.
And so we're on Celtic land here, and my tradition is the Celtic tradition. And
Mm.
this is a universal symbol, and we're going to go into it in a moment, of a cross within a circle. And it's an energy structure that unites geometry in terms of the shapes we can see here with the ether field via various levels of energy, plus the consciousness of the land. I'm going to show you how that all comes together in a moment. This project is about 5 minutes away from where I live in Somerset in southwest England. It's on a project which is a medicine garden. So this was built to be a centerpiece for a garden growing medicinal herbs. So it's about healing the land and healing us through these herbs and in the interaction of the space.
Wow. Ooh.
So what I've done here is a little bit of an overview of some of the elements of this structure. So there's a rectangle, these four big stones, which is a piece of solar geometry, which is central to my tradition, which is about 4,000 years old. Technology of astronomical observation and geodesic calculation, and then megalithic building from the European tradition. And so this rectangle is aligned to north, south, east, and west, and the crossing points are the solstice, sunrises, and sunsets, and the equinox. So not everything is shown here, but essentially it's a solar observatory, and it's a solar temple, And all the dimensions, the straight lines and all the circles are harmonic frequencies. So everything is built with the music of the land, built with harmonics. The center of this is a crossing point of earth energies. So it's a vortex. That's where you see the spiraling. So there's
Yeah.
one spiraling up, one down. The one that's going up is the spiraling vortex caused by the intersection of multiple earth energy lines. The one going
Mm.
down is caused and created by the geometry, which comes from the geometry of the sun. So it's the interaction between the information and the rhythms of the planets and the location. So we get this double vortex, and this spiraling upwards and downwards. So okay, it's a very powerful place for connection, and it really is a sacred site in all senses. And so you can see on the left there the circle and the cross. So that symbol is a symbol of the sun. A circle with a point
Yes.
is the symbol of gold in terms of alchemy. So we have
Ah,
many layers here. So this structure was pretty much the foundation of all true sacred spaces in the ancient world.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How are you able to find where that was located? Like, how were you
Uh,
able to see this is where it is?
that's through dowsing, using dowsing rods, and then the body, then to feel. So I know what particular type of center I'm looking for, and there's different vortexes. So vortex basically means a spiral, and a node is the interaction at crossing point of different energy lines. So some of the people listening may have heard of ley lines, but then there are many other types of lines. And all these
Mm.
lines intersect, and the different interactions create different energy qualities. And we want ones that are going to open up the energy body and can be really positive. And so we want essentially the bigger the structure, the more energy you need. So it's a bit like taking your phone, plugging it into the wall. You need
Hmm.
enough sort of power there to connect to. And so a very big ancient site like an ancient a temple site or a cathedral, they're going to have a much bigger energy point. And this is things like dragon lines and ley lines, but also underground water and fault lines. There's many layers, and we'll cover one a bit later. One of the examples a bit later on in the presentation.
I, yeah, I didn't want to jump ahead too much, but I'm curious, what is a dragon line?
So, so dragon line basically is like a river of energy. So it's undulating and it has a level of consciousness and it can move. So if you think about a dragon, so in the
Yes,
Chinese tradition, the dragons do this sort of movement, like a
yes,
it's like a river of energy. A river. It's like essentially
yes.
technically it's an ELF, an extremely low frequency standing wave
Mm.
that can then be seen as like a river of energy. There
And
are
that's how
other grid.
creeks move too. Creeks are like that when you look at them
Yeah,
from above.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are also straight lines. There are 90-degree grids. Then there are sort of ley lines which are more like very straight. So and actually, if you visualize the caduceus, basically you've got the Ida and Pingala, the solar and lunar
Yes,
lines, male and female. Well, then there's the
yes.
neutral down the middle. A true
Wow.
ley line is that neutral. They always come with the pairs of dragon lines.
Ah,
So,
interesting.
the sort of the more regular understanding of a ley line is like a relationship between two or three or more points in the landscape, and they do exist. But
Mm.
a higher level consciousness ley line travels and will be found with pairs of dragons, male and
Wow.
female. We're going to see the very special ones in the presentation.
Interesting. Okay. Sorry to interrupt.
Great.
I just
No, please interrupt. Please. Okay. So what I've drawn here is an illustration of an experiment we did. We had five people, someone stood in the center, and then four of us were then on the cardinal directions. This structure is aligned north, south, east, and west. So the structure is aligned to true north, so it's linked with the Earth's magnetic field. And what we did was we stood in these positions as someone was in the center. After about 5 or 6 or 7 minutes, then essentially an energy bubble was created from the center, and it built up and built up, and then was then pushed out and was then felt by everyone else. There was like almost a sort of like a
Wow.
shift outwards, and I'll show you. Like it sort of came outwards. So what's happening is there's this sort of spiraling
Yes.
action, and that center dotted line is that center line connecting classically called heaven and earth. But then that spiraling action, essentially, we've got these cones of energy which are spiraling torsion fields. But then when we stand there and we interact, when then our own biofields interact with it, we then have an amplification. There was an amplification because there's also the mind aspect, the consciousness aspect, where we didn't know this we didn't know what we were going to get, and this happened. Essentially, this is like a scalar field response
Yes.
where the interaction of the energy field of the structure and the energy field of the person in the center all connected together. And I'll show you another slide in a moment. And so
How did
what's
that make
happening?
you feel? How did that make you feel afterwards?
Very peaceful.
Mm.
So yeah, so these structures are very grounding. So the big geometry of the rectangles is like a foundation. It's a bit like building a horoscope of the land in place. So a horoscope is the relation is a map of the geometry, is the relationship between your birthplace and time and the planets. And so all the alignments, all those specific alignments that are unique to you determine whether you're a Leo or a Sagittarius.
Interesting.
The rectangle that laid out on the ground is one particular geometric relationship
Yes.
of the sun and the moon to that location. And when it's built, and when because each side is a musical frequency, so it's like so basically it's like a wave, like a guitar string. That
Right.
these stones in the four corners, this is a musical instrument, and it's playing the unique music of this location. And so there's the short side, long side, and diagonal have their own frequency, and it's specific to this piece of land. But let's say we move from here to where you are in Florida, because the latitude change, the frequencies change. So when
Yes.
we build this around on the land, it then creates a very powerful sacred space because we're activating the land's own music. So it's the music of the land. It's a bit like, think about the DNA. We each have unique DNA. That's the coding of our biology, which then is informed by a higher dimensional self. And so at the point of inception, the etheric DNA is inserted into the physicality of our being, and then that creates the etheric structure in which our physical body then maps to. This is the same, but this is through musical notes. And when we build all this, we then can build these structures and then create these energy fields. And then
Mm.
the land spirits and the land accept it because we're activating the land's own DNA to create
Yes.
balance and to heal itself. And so when we go into these structures, these can be felt and usually in the center. But in this case, in this what happened with this five people, it was a larger field effect where we're working, where the harmonics and the alignment then is enhanced by our own biofields, our consciousness, our intention to then create this torsion scalar field effect.
Yes. Awesome. I love that.
Great. Yeah. So to answer your question, we all felt really grounded and really centered afterwards.
I
And also, I was really quite shocked because that's something I haven't sort of had an experience before in the structure.
right. Was it healing? I'm gonna guess it was probably healing in some way.
Yeah, because yeah, the whole structure itself is a healing structure. Yeah, it's
Hmm.
when we go there
So
to
it
get
kind of
healed.
lines you all up. It kind of probably lined up your chakras in a way.
It's a line, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
This structure specifically opens up the throat chakra, but it will align them all. You can see that dotted line there. It is
Yes.
alignment. So in our own biofield, that alignment that comes through the perineum to the crown, well, when we're misaligned, we don't have that. So these
Yeah.
structures are aligned to north, south, east, and west. So they're aligned with the magnetic field. but then because they're exactly harmonic, they're exactly like a structure playing the land's music, it's creating harmony. It's like a harmony machine. So when I build these around homes, you get to live in the music of the land, and it's like sort of a background technology that's designed to create harmony and a presence.
Harmonic resonance.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
harmonic
that's beautiful.
resonance, yeah, machine
Beautiful.
technology.